StoryTube. By Joshua Gen 2005. ZECCHAEUS. A letter from paradise to why I write this letter to you. I just want to make you remember God's grace is unconditional. When grace is absent, you and I cannot survive. The absence of grace will bring destruction and disrepute, also calamity. When grace is present, anything could happen that will make you live a life of example of peace and holiness. I was born a Jew in Jericho and raised as a Jewish boy. Though my parents were very strict in their upbringing of children, a family of 3 brothers and 2 sisters will be called big. My life as a tax collector and a chief customs officer saw that I become rich very fast, as the Roman authorities were very happy with my conduct of affairs, and there was enough room for corruption too, as long as the Romans received the exact pound of flesh in their coffers on time. When I got married to Sarah, my wife, I was already a rich man but very unpopular among the people around my area. I believe all tax collectors will receive the wrath of the people, but I was exceptional due to my being rich and the countrymen are getting poorer by the day. I know behind my back they used to call me names. Though my name means innocent, I was not so innocent when it came to my daily activity. Though I was married, I liked other women too. But with other women, I had a problem, as I had the main setback in my height, as I was very short, though it was not a deformity. I was not handsome like other Jewish men nor bold enough to approach women. Therefore I had to get what I wanted by spending money. The more I spent, the more I increased the taxes. The more I was bribed, the greedier I got. Most of the time the rich in my area invited me for their secret pleasure parties where money kickbacks were calling the shots. Though my life was based on a scale of corruption and unfair malpractices, I loved my family and wished that my sons would not become men like me, and also they will someday do better than me with dignity and tact. Other than sailing and shipping, nothing important took place in Jericho during my living there, other than only one instance where it was announced that Jesus of Nazareth will be visiting the area the next day. This news went like wildfire, and for more than 12 hours of that day, the marketplace, the city, and every junction were full of stories of Jesus, which made me also interested to know this man. They had one common thing to say about Jesus, and that is he is a miraculous healer. Some said he will lay his hands and heal, while some said he will speak to the sickness and heal. It was known and spoken news that none who came to Jesus went back empty-handed. Something like this has never happened in my life before, and, according to the news and stories, Jesus could heal any sickness where blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dumb will talk, and the lame would walk. For a fraction of a second it crossed my mind, the short will be tall as I am that he. I consulted a few of my rich friends to know when he will pass the main road the next day. Most of them had a view of saying that he will pass before the sunset. I wished whether I could invite him to my house, as I am the richest man in the place. I had a 12-room genuinely constructed Jewish house with a balcony where we could watch the stars during summer, and it had everything a man could imagine of luxury. It was more than enough for my family and the servants, as the garden was laden with all kinds of fruits and vegetables where the organic food was rampant. As Jericho was famous for the palm trees, I had enough of palm trees in my garden along with olives, figs, and dates. I received the grain tax every year twice, and, as I have charged more than required, I had enough grain in my storerooms to feed even thousands. I had 28 servants, both male and female, to attend all affairs, maintenance and well-being of the property and my family. During the evening meal, I mentioned this Jesus to my wife and family also, and they were also interested to know more of him. That night I couldn't sleep, as I was thinking of Jesus and the event that is coming up the next day, and wondering how to meet him, or see him for that matter, as I am a very short man and Jesus will never notice me among the multitudes. In the wee hours of the night finally, I fell asleep and dreamt of me talking to Jesus. The next day I finished my work at the desk briskly and was looking forward to meeting Jesus. Heard that he had 12 companions with him and was informed a few will be accompanying him today. But to meet Jesus, I had no contacts for any one of them. After thinking for so long, I decided the best is to climb a tree and have a glimpse when he is passing the place. I surveyed the road and found a sycamore tree in which the branches were long enough and reaching the middle of the road at about 20 feet high, and decided that I would climb the tree to see Jesus. To make sure that I will be comfortable there, I climbed the tree to see how I would do. So I made sure the tree branch is okay. It was around 4:30 in the evening when the news came flooding in that Jesus is on the way, and I got myself into comfortable clothing to climb the sycamore tree and ran towards Jesus. Past the sycamore tree, ran towards his entourage thinking I will get a glimpse of him, but I failed due to my height. I came back running and climbed the tree and waited for Jesus to pass the tree so that I may see him. There were many people escorting him in front, and a multitude of people were following him. I knew on my feet on the ground I will never get a chance to see him, and I did the best by climbing the tree to see him. Now the escorting crowd was passing, and Jesus was in the middle. He came straight near the tree branch and stopped and looked up. Now I would like to quote what his book recorded of this incident in his word and then continue my story thereafter. Gospel of Luke. Chapter 19 from verse 1 to verse 10. 1 And Jesus entered and passed through Jericho. 2 And, behold, there was a man named ZECCHAEUS, which was the chief among the publicans, and he was rich. 3 And he sought to see Jesus who he was, and could not for the press, because he was little of stature. 4 And he ran before, and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was to pass that way. 5 And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up, and saw him, and said unto him, ZECCHAEUS, make haste, and come down, for today I must abide at thy house. 6 And he made haste, and came down, and received him joyfully. 7 And when they saw it, they all murmured, saying, that he was gone to be guest with a man that is a sinner. 8 And ZECCHAEUS stood, and said unto the Lord, Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I have taken anything from any man by false accusation, I restore him fourfold. 9 And Jesus said unto him, This day is salvation come to this house, for so much as he also is a son of Abraham. 10 For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. When Jesus called my name, my heart stopped. My tongue went dry. It was like I am going to fall from the tree. I did not climb down but slid down from the tree and came face to face with Jesus. The multitudes were surprised to hear what Jesus said just now. Some were having thoughts of disagreement as I knew that I am the biggest sinner in the area. Suddenly 1,000 thoughts were overwhelming me and I could think of only one thing. I felt this man Jesus is special and the words just came out of my mouth like water and what I said was, Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I have taken anything from any man by false accusation, I restore him fourfold. I knew I had to clean my house before Jesus entered into it to spend the night with me. Before I prepare a meal for him, I had to prepare a clean meal without the money I made with unjust deeds. Also, my replying to Jesus, shut the mouths and doubts of the multitude as it was a public statement. While Jesus was coming to my house, I ran towards my home to inform my family and servants to prepare the best meal ever in my house and, I said this day all household will sit together with Jesus for the meal that is prepared including the servants of the house. It is being heard that Jesus healed so many on that day during his visit by passing Jericho and most importantly the meal that was prepared was enough to feed another 200-300 people who were gate-crashing my home to see Jesus that day. Sure enough, just as Jesus said to me and my household received the salvation that day including my servants. We all had tears in our eyes when we accepted his invitation to the life he had planned for our lives. I have never experienced joy like this in my life ever before and, surely as I said publicly I shared my wealth with the poor as well as the money I made by wrongdoing were paid 4 times back to them and their families. This made the whole area once again talking about me and the good that I have done to the people. You see, when God's grace is presented all ill-fated incidents are put to rest. As Peter was a disciple of Jesus, during the latter days I became very close to Peter and learned the word of God through him. ZECCHAEUS is mentioned in the Clementine Homilies, 363, as having been a companion of Peter and appointed the bishop of Caesarea and that is me. Serving my Lord and my Savior was better than serving the Romans. More than anything else, the grace of God which was given to mankind through Jesus is immense and unbelievable. The sinner ZECCHAEUS, which means innocent, was made innocent in front of God's eyes. Today, because of this one incident, I am with my family and servants, are in paradise and decided I should write to you. Salvation is today and not tomorrow, and I hope you'll ask Jesus to forgive you and cleanse your home before you invite him to your house. Ask for forgiveness and Jesus is waiting for you to make the first move and he will do the rest. May God bless you all during these perilous times on earth. Jesus will come soon to meet you as the time is up. ZECCHAEUS, from Paradise with Love. This is the newest way of storytelling. Brought to you by Joshua Gen 2005. Please do not forget to encourage us by subscribing to this channel and pushing the bell icon for future notifications of new video uploads.